Welcome to Emil Amok, the Takeout, the micro talk show for the AAPI and the AAXs and all the rest of you. Uh, I've been kind of on tour. I guess this is I'm I'm at the New York City Frigid Fringe, which is a fringe festival in the middle of winter. And wouldn't you know, I think I brought the snow with me because it's it's supposed to dump snow starting tomorrow morning, or at least late tonight, tomorrow morning in New York City. And they've been complaining for like the last couple of months that winter's going to end, and we haven't had anything stick. They had flurries the other day, light flurries, but it's going to be I think it's going to be about maybe 2-3 inches in New York City by Tuesday or Wednesday. So people are excited here about the snow. I know, it takes a lot to impress New York, but they're excited about the snow. Here for my show, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to Frigid.NYC or go to the link here. See, if you're on the screen, it's Frigid.NYC/event/6897 colon 338. Much easier to just go to Frigid.NYC and then look for my picture. And then you'll see this Emil Amok, lost NPR host, found under St. Mark's and other stories. I have done 5 shows now. I have 2 more left. And people are always nice and they say, "Oh, Emil, I'm not in New York. I can't catch your show." Well, you don't have to be in New York. You can be wherever you are. I've talked to the management. There were some issues with some technical stuff. They fixed them. So you can go to this Frigid.NYC site, look for my picture, look for Emil Amok, lost NPR host. And then as you go to it, right here, I'll do it for you. Scroll down. You see, you get ticket price, solo performance, March 3rd and March 4th, the final 2 dates. Friday at 8:10 p.m., Saturday at 10:20 p.m. So if you're on the West Coast, that's 3 hours different, right? So Friday at 5:10 on the West Coast. If you're in on Saturday at 10:10, that's even better, 7:10 at night. You click on down here, book your tickets, click on the calendar right here, and you'll see, for example, the Saturday. Click on the Saturday. Two things pop up: 10:20 p.m. Eastern Time in person, or 10:20 Eastern Time watch from home. That's what you can do if you're not in New York City. They'll send you a live stream link. You buy the ticket. The tickets are anywhere from $15 to $20. There's some discounts if you're a veteran, if you're a student, but it's reasonably priced. You get to watch it from home. It's a fun show, and I got some reviews today. Today I got a review by someone who I think actually watched the show. I mean, it didn't appear. I got one review by uh, a reviewer who didn't once mention history, which is weird because how can you not, review my show and mention the historical aspects of the show? But there was a review done by a fellow by the name of Ryan Leeds from Manhattan Digest. Okay, so we're not talking about like the New York Times or the New York Post. But the title of his review was Emil Amok's Filipino American Solo Show Educates and Entertains. Okay, well, some might say that, oh, educates, that's a word that's like a killer in reviews. There's, oh, we don't want to be educated. We want to have drunken laughter, be just entertained to the max. But he said educate and entertains. Now, he says Emil Amok Guillermo has a lot to say, but it's what is left unsaid that makes his solo show so interesting. Emil Amok, lost NPR host found under St. Mark's and other stories, runs just under an hour and exposes America's ugly colonization of the Philippines, along with other comical and often profound observations. Wow, now this guy, I think he liked the show. Uh, so Guillermo may not be a famous name, a problem unto itself for Asian American personalities, but his tales are worth hearing and repeating. The San Francisco born Ivy League graduate was fortunate enough to earn a spot on National Public Radio's All Things Considered. He was the first Asian American male to host a national news program. It only lasted 2 years, however, and while Guillermo doesn't say it, one senses that the stint was not meant with a mutual parting. Well, it's not exactly true. I mean, it was mutual. I may not have wanted to leave. Maybe that's what he means. One can also determine that the left leaning broadcasting corporation is not always as progressive as its loyal listeners are led to believe. And that is absolutely the truth. It's not nearly, as, good old NPR. No, it's almost as corporate as other media sites or media places I worked. Yet Guillermo has soldiered on, writing and working for the Asian American Legal Defense and Education Fund, a contribution that he considers his most important work. Ah, well, it's true. You can go to the aldef.org/blog and you can read my columns there. Now, this is an important paragraph in the review. Guillermo wisely avoids playing the victim card in relationship to cultural discrimination and offers insights into other groups that have been marginalized in society. In doing so, he makes the point that discrimination for one is discrimination for all. And then he goes on to say he wishes the show were longer. Perhaps he will save that for the sequel. He wanted to hear more history, this guy. For now, the piece running through March 4th as part of the Frigid Fringe Festival is a must see for anyone who cares about human rights and social justice. So, there, a must see, he says. So, see it. See it. I mean, here's where you get your tickets right here. Go to Frigid.NYC, look for my smiling face, and then click on Emil Amok, Lost NPR host. And then as you click, scroll down, and you see the remaining date on the calendar. And pick a calendar date, Friday the 3rd, 8:10 Eastern Time in person. You can also buy your tickets at the door if you're in New York City or in the environs, as they say. And if you're not, if you're in California or Hawaii or wherever you are, click on this one, 8:10 Eastern Time, watch from home. Remember, 8:10 Eastern, that's about 6 hours different, right? In Hawaii, 3 hours different on the West Coast. So, yeah, that's going to be what, 2 o'clock Eastern time or Hawaii time? A matinee. Imagine that on Saturday the 4th. So, lots of options. I hope you check it out. Emil Amok, Lost NPR host. It's the reason why I'm here. And, yeah, it's one of those things where I knew uh, it was going to be tough because essentially what I've done is I've become an actor for Lent. Although I'm not technically an actor in my show, I'm playing me. I'm bearing my soul. I'm telling you, you know what it's like to be Filipino in America. But I'm in this other play called The Conductor, and I'll be talking about that later on, later on this week and more of next week. I'm actually in the rehearsals. I have a very small part, so it's not as demanding as, say, some of the actors who are out there, and they are telling the story about the school board recall in San Francisco and the anti woke forces that recalled these school board members who had their heart in the right place. But it's the artistic vision of Ishmael Reed, the noted writer, and it's a history really of race relations in America. And what's not taught in schools, that comes out very clear, and what should be taught. So check out The Conductor. It's a play that I'll be in starting in March, and I'll be talking about more later. But the thing that I'm in now at the Frigid.NYC Festival, Frigid Festival in New York City, is Emil Amok, the Lost NPR host, found under St. Mark's. And it's interesting, the people who've come to the show. Some are strangers I don't even know. They were looking through the catalog and they saw a Filipino face. They saw me and they came to the show. And this one guy, his name is Sid, formal name El Sid, and but just goes by Sid because he's a humble guy. But he's a lawyer here in town, and you know, after the show, I usually invite members to meet me at the bar and we'll talk. And so we had a nice, interesting conversation about the Philippines. This guy's a youngish attorney here, and there's a group of people here in New York who, yeah, they like Joke Boy, they like, uh, Filipino comics, but they haven't seen a show like mine, which talks about the history and talks about being Filipino American seriously, but also with a light touch. So hopefully El Cid will tell all his friends to come to the remaining two shows. There's just two more shows left, March 3rd and 4th. If you're watching us on YouTube or watching this on Twitter, check out the link at Frigid.NYC and get your tickets. If you're not in New York City, you can watch the show streamed, and they fixed it. It's not like this. So you're not going to get a great close up of me, but you'll see me full body. If you go to my Instagram page at Emil Amok one, or go to my Twitter feed at Emil Amok, a couple pictures there. So that was good. I met El Cid. A couple of people came on the Saturday show who I haven't seen in years. Jim Haymar, Diane Mashali, old colleagues of mine at KRON when it was good, when it was the NBC affiliate. They came to the 12 noon show. We had a nooner, and they enjoyed the show. They said, Emil, I don't think I would have recognized you without your perm. The perm comes up as a joke in the show, by the way. And but yeah, it was good to see Jim. Jim was the anchor man in San Francisco with Sylvia Chase. Diane was a producer with all sorts of shows, CNN, at Cron, at NBC, and now they are happily enjoying their retirement. Great to see them at the show. Also, a couple of old friends, uh, Carter Burwell, the Oscar nominated composer. He came to my show and loved the show. We enjoyed a drink after the Thursday show. And, he's up for an Oscar for this Banshees of Inisherin. And, I hope he gets it. I mean, I love his other work. I've enjoyed the other movies that he's done music for. But this could be it. This could be the thing. He said, Emil, I'm up against that, the Everything Everywhere All at Once, those folks. They're really going for it. They've got all the nominations. But he's my buddy, so I'm going to be rooting for Carter Burwell. Another buddy, Peter Alson, was there on Thursday, and more of my friends from college are going to make it for the March 3rd and 4th shows. So come on out. It's the Under St. Mark's Theater. It's on St. Mark's Place and First Avenue. And here's the funny thing. I thought it was actually under a church, under St. Mark's Church, but it's not. It's called Under St. Mark's because it's literally under. It's an underground theater on St. Mark's Place. And if you look for some signage, there's like an outline of the what is it, a stencil, I guess, of the words theater that makes you understand that, hey, there's a theater under there. But it's you'll miss it because it's not exactly prominent. The most prominent thing about the building is the words Fun City Tattoo Parlor, and then you have that catch your eye, and then you look down. Oh, there's a door. It looks like a speakeasy. It does, but it's underground. And if you go, I guarantee it is the one place in New York where you're not going to be surveilled upon by anything balloon worthy flying above us, sending information to some foreign agent. It's that safe, quiet, intimate theater. Check it out. Uh, Final shows March 3rd and 4th under St. Mark's Theater. So I read you the review. If you missed any part of this, go back. I read a review. It was in the Manhattan Digest. I don't know how well read the Manhattan Digest is here in town, but if you catch it, um, you know, it liked the show. Said it was educational and entertaining. It didn't talk about all the poop jokes I tell, but I guess that would negate the educational part. But no, actually, that's probably some of the most entertaining and educational stuff in the play. All right, one serious point. Uh, I'm going to do my column later on today, and a lot of people are talking about Dilbert, and I think Dilbert's been fairly irrelevant for years. I mean, it's sort of like the last. It's not even as endearing as the last waning days of the Peanuts comic strip, but it's a very primitive style, dry humor about the workplace. But I think he's just trying to go down in flames. I think he Scott Adams, the right wing cartoonist who pens and authors the Dilbert strip, has made these outrageous statements that are racist on their face, and people have chosen not to deal with him because it is a choice. I mean, you can have your free speech, you can have your free speech all you want, but people have a right to say, I don't want to work with racists. I want to work with optimists. I want to work with people who are uh, giving and oh, hold on a second. Okay, I want to work with people who are believers in the American dream for all. That's what's really weird. I mean, I can't get it. I mean, conservatives are trying to say, oh, look, Scott Adams is getting canceled. No, he's not getting canceled. He's he's being treated the way people would ordinarily be treated for having abhorrent views on a free people. I mean, you can say what you want. The free speech of the First Amendment gives you that opportunity, but you have to suffer the consequences. That's part of the debate. Part of the debate is you say X, and then the people who believe in Y, they say, sorry, this is part of the debate. We don't agree with you, and we're not going to work with you. That's not cancellation. That's just the way debate goes. And then it's up to you to say, I'm digging in my heels or I'm changing, I'm evolving. And apparently, Scott Adams doesn't need our money, and he chooses to go down in flames. That's a choice, his choice. This is the way America works. America, a democracy, works in a way where if you say things that are abhorrent to the freedom of of people within our democracy, then you're going to get some pushback. And he's getting a lot of pushback. People are dumping him, and let's see if he changes. That's part of the debate. One side says something back to you. Do you say, "Well, you're right," or "No, I'm digging in, and I'm going to be a martyr"? His choice. Dilbert, the boring nerd cubicle worker, is deciding to go down in flames. His choice. His choice. The other thing I've been following, I've been doing this show talking about history, and we came up. February is a weird month. February, well, not weird. It's just coincidental. It was the start of the Philippine American War, also could be called the U.S. Philippine War because the U.S. were the aggressors. Started in February, lasted from 1899 to 1902 officially. But I talk about it in my play, but I also mention how this is the 1 year anniversary of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. And isn't it interesting that if you really want to understand the Philippine American War, the US Philippine War, the way to do so, I mean, because this is the war that no one wants to talk about. This is the war that everyone wants you to forget. But the interesting insight in my play is, what do you know? Uh, the Philippine U.S. War, or yeah, the Philippine American War, you have the U.S. in the role of Russia invading a sovereign nation, the Philippines, in the role of Ukraine. And isn't it interesting too that the United States felt, the United States officially would say, no, no, we weren't invading a sovereign. We owned the Philippines. They bought it from Spain, Spanish American War, in the Treaty of Paris. But really, they bought it from Spain, but at the same time, the Filipinos started an independent, first democratic nation in Asia, 1898. The war began 1899. I think the only way to look at the Philippine American War is the U.S. in the role of Russia, the Philippines in the role of Ukraine. And to think about it that way, well, you know how I feel about the U.S. involvement with Ukraine. We should be involved in that. But we should be involved as the U.S., not as Russia, right? In the Philippine American War, the U.S. is playing the part of Russia. That's one of the ironies of history that I point out in my show. Emil Amok, lost NPR host, Frigid.NYC. Two more shows, March 3rd and 4th. Check it out, March 3rd and 4th, Friday and Saturday. Tickets good for Friday. The 4th, Saturday, is a late show. And so, 10 o'clock, it's kind of late. But if you're watching on the live stream from California or Hawaii, hey, it's a matinee. It's not on at 10:20 p.m. It's, 3 hours earlier or 6 hours earlier in Hawaii. So check out the live streams. And the live streams are pretty good. They fixed them. May not have been the case early on. All right, so I said I was going to do these from time to time. This is officially, we'll call this episode 486. Hey, it's good to see you. I'm enjoying my stay in New York City. It's like living here. It's not like going into a hotel and seeing the concierge and saying, oh, can I get tickets to the Whitney to see the Edward Hopper exhibit? No. I feel, I go to the grocery store. It's, I look over my shoulder. Because you got to look over your shoulder in New York, because you might be hit by a Grubhub guy or some food delivery. There are food delivery guys all over the place. And this reminds me of when I first came to New York, when I was 17. I was going to school on the East Coast, and I'd go to Central Park and rent a bike, and you're not supposed to take it outside, but I did. And then I'd ride all over, I think of that song, Sidewalks of New York, East Side, West Side. And it was so freeing and so cool. And there weren't any bikes. No one was riding bikes back then. I mean, in Central Park, but the bike boys, the messenger boys, they were all downtown. So it was a great way to see New York. And I remember just riding all over the damn place. Now there are bikes and e-bikes, and there are bike lanes, but most of the time they're used. But there's still the cabs in the main part of the thoroughfares. But it's crazy. You're walking, not paying attention. Bam, there's a Grubhub guy. Anyway, a lot of great places to eat too. And the great places to eat aren't like the fancy places. There are these hole in the walls that serve all sorts of great vegan and macrobiotic foods, and it's kind of exciting. I have to admit, kind of exciting to be here in the city. Anyway, my journey continues, and if you want to see how it plays out on stage, March 3rd and 4th, lost NPR host, Frigid.NYC. Check it out. And then I'll talk more about the conductor in a subsequent show. Ishmael Reed's play. Ishmael Reed. I've been in one of his plays. Hubba City. He did a couple other really good ones. One on Basquiat and Andy Warhol, and one on Lin-Manuel Miranda. But this one, I think, is really his best, The Conductor. So I'll talk more about that. It's playing at Theater for the New City, off-Broadway. These are all off-Broadway things. Downtown. Usually I'm more of an uptown guy. I have to admit, a friend of mine in New York said, "Oh, so you're downtown, Emil? I can't go downtown that often." Because I said, "Okay, look." Anyway, and usually like I'm downtown or midtown or uptown or midtown, but downtown is like it's a place. It's a neighborhood, and I great organic food store. East Village Organic. They're not paying for this. I mean, I just go and get my bananas from them. Um, so enjoying living in New York, and I just had to come on and say hi to get that spark. Remember, just get your tickets here. Go to Frigid.NYC. Get the live stream ticket if you aren't in New York City. Like, and don't forget to scroll down. You see, and get your finger in there. You scroll down, book your tickets. For the third, 8:10 p.m. or for the fourth, and it pops up on the right side, and then you get it, and then you fill it out, and they send you a link, and it's a really nice situation. Okay, this is Emil Amok's Takeout. My takes on all things considerable. We're here Monday through Friday, except less often during my time during Lent playing an actor off Broadway. But yeah, visit amok.com for replays or YouTube YouTube channel at Emil Amok One. And I started using Instagram. I don't feel comfortable using Instagram, but I decided before I turn to TikTok, I at least should get to know Instagram. So I started posting. So you can check out things there at Emil Amok One. All right, loving kindness. End with some meditation. You know, part of being in the play is that you're in this trance, and it's in you. The words are in you, the feelings, what you want to convey. And I just let it come up out of me. And it's really something. You try to make the moment as good as possible. And when you're in the moment, man, that makes a difference in your communication on stage, in, what happens when you hear someone sigh, or you hear people laugh, or you hear something falls and there's a crashing sound. I would all to meditation, really. Um, I have a line in the show. I said, like, I'm dealing with all my stuff. I went to med school during the pandemic, meditation school. And it's true. And so we end our shows with a little meditation, the loving kindness meditation, because really that's it. That's it keeps you from a lot of bad things. You might want to like get mad at someone, or you might want to do things that you don't want. It's the loving kindness thing that gets you right back on track into the moment for the good. And so think about someone who you love, or think about someone who maybe someone you don't love, but you want to show a concern. You want to show some loving kindness, because usually this is the path toward getting the love back. This is the path toward loving self-kindness or self-loving, offering it first to others, and then finding it come back manifold to yourself. And so think of those people or a person that you want to give that sense to. And then as you do think of this phrase or these phrases, as I wish for me, I wish for you. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. And may you live with ease. And as you say that, putting it out there to that person you have in mind, as you say it, it comes back. That's what happens. Hey, Emil Guillermo here. Until next time, check out the show, amok.com for replays. We'll be back. So, until next time, mahal